Ilia Topuria is the worst champion in UFC history. Now, that might be a bit far. I actually might not believe that. But what is going on with this guy? Like, anytime I feel like I'm warming up to Ilia Topuria, even though he's knocked out Volkanovski and Max Holloway, I should hate him. But when I start to warm up to the guy, I feel like this is a personality that we need in the UFC. Starting to try and get behind the guy. He comes off with shit like this. Ilia Topuria hopes to retire from MMA in 3 years by the age of 30. He's 27 and he hopes to be out by 30. Right now in my division, I no longer have the motivation to defend the belt anymore. Now I want to move up a category and we'll see how everything goes. Okay, so I'm back to hating this guy now. You've got one title defense. Now, I like the thought of double champ and moving up multiple weight classes and winning belts and stuff. I don't like it though when you don't earn it by clearing out your division. Like, the only champion right now in the UFC that has any, like, reason to move up is Pantoja. Because the guy has quite literally cleared out his own division. Ilia Topuria hasn't. Now, Ilia Topuria has beaten arguably the second and third best featherweight, the first and second or third best featherweight of all time. You can maybe have Aldo above Holloway, depends what way you look at it, but Holloway did beat him twice. However, that's an argument that could be had in the comments. But this division isn't cleared out by you yet. You need to stay here and clear out this division. I mean, like, well, obviously we're getting the Volkanovski 2 rematch. Even though he says he's not defending his belt anymore and he's looking to move up, I believe we're going to get Volkanovski 2. Volk does deserve it. He is the greatest featherweight of all time. Ilia Topuria is the first guy ever to beat him in the featherweight division. I would like to have seen Volk get a fight and a win beforehand, but it's not the way the UFC is going to go. And, I mean, he just does deserve it, to be honest. But, so you've got the rematch with Volkanovski. That is a matchup that's going to happen. We've got the matchup with Diego Lopez. We need to see Diego Lopez versus Ilia Topuria. Like, facts. I need to see that matchup. Now, I'm not saying Diego Lopez would beat him. I think Ilia Topuria would beat Diego Lopez. I think he would knock out Diego Lopez. However, I feel like Diego Lopez is dangerous, especially in the opening rounds. He hits extremely hard, and I think that's the way to beat Ilia Topuria, to be honest. I don't think you're going to beat him by, like, point fighting with him or anything like that. I feel like you have to match him in there and you have to try and knock him out. If you're not going to do that and try and point fight him, eventually he's going to get to you and he's going to KO you. And I feel like Diego Lopez can match him in terms of power in there. Diego Lopez is dangerous, and in terms of the grappling as well, I'd be really interested in seeing the scrambles and the grappling exchanges between Diego Lopez and Ilia Topuria. So that's another matchup we need to see. We're at 2 so far. Yair Rodriguez isn't a matchup that we need to see. However, I think Yair should fight Arnold Allen next, and whoever wins that, then that's another contender. So there's 3. A lot of people I've seen think Yair Rodriguez is the guy to beat Ilia Topuria. Now, Yair Rodriguez does throw something that seems to be Ilia Topuria's kryptonite in there, and that is head kicks. We have seen Ilia Topuria. That is the one thing, the one chink in his armor, is head kicks. The guy does not deal well with it. There's another matchup. Movsar Evloev, another matchup. I mean, this guy's just beaten Aljamain Sterling by robbery, but he is ranked number 5 right now in the UFC's featherweight division. He is also undefeated. There's no way you can tell me undefeated versus undefeated for a title isn't going to sell. I mean, makes sense in my opinion. So those are 4 fights that I think need to happen before Ilia Topuria even thinks about moving up. I feel like at that point he would have cleared out the division. However, I don't think that's the way they're going to go. But the matchups he definitely needs to have is the rematch with Volk and a fight with Diego Lopez. After that, and he decided to move up to fight Islam, I'd be happy enough to see that, because I do want to see Islam versus Ilia Topuria. I actually feel like Islam Makhachev will beat Ilia Topuria. I think he's a better grappler than what Ilia is. And on the feet, again, he's much bigger, stronger than Topuria. And my ears need to pop. And he's deadly with head kicks, Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev, we've seen him KO Volkanovski with a head kick. Who's to say he can't do the same to Ilia Topuria? But let's talk about this as well. So, Ilia Topuria, I'd seen last week, had said he was set to make his UFC return April or May time. And right away, I was thinking, okay, yo, shout out the GOAT. Yo, free Diddy. But no, right enough. last week he said, I think it was last week, he wanted to return April or May time, and the fight that was interesting him was Islam Makhachev, although he's been obsessed with calling out Islam for quite some time now. I never really thought anything of it because you're fighting Volk next to get in the cage with you. But Ilia Topuria has now said this. He does want to return April or May time and is looking to fight Charles Oliveira. Since Islam is going to fight in January and is not going to be ready by April or May time, I would like to fight the number one contender, which is Charles Oliveira. Now, this and again, another fun matchup I would like to see. I do think Ilia Topuria would beat Charles Oliveira. My throat's still sore. However, I feel like this would be an interesting matchup. I definitely think Oliveira could beat him. Again, Oliveira does have the power. He can crack. And as long as Ilia Topuria is like so elusive and his defense is really great that you can't land on him, the guy is there to be hit. Also, I do feel like if it got to the ground again, I'd be interested in seeing their scrambles and just their grappling exchanges, because Charles Oliveira is deadly in the grappling, whether he's on top or bottom. Pause. And Ilia Topuria also is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt who came into the sport of MMA as a grappler and has just really developed as a boxer. However, I do feel like his boxing and his body combination, just his striking would just be too much for Charles Oliveira in my opinion, and I feel like he would get the stoppage. But if he does this, he's also said about letting go of the featherweight title. That ruins the featherweight division, I'm going to be honest. Like, that there just ruins it, because Ilia Topuria would have moved up and not have been beaten. It's kind of just like Volk will become champion again, and then it's like he's second best. He never beat Topuria, and they're just fighting for like a second best title. I just don't like that idea. I think Ilia Topuria should have those two fights and then look to move up. I mean, he could fight Volkanovski April and then fight Diego Lopez, May, June, July, August, September. Could fight him in September in Spain, because I feel like that's the fight you take to Spain, Diego Lopez versus Ilia Topuria. Both guys speak Spanish, so that would really help sell the event. I feel like that's the fight you take to Spain. Have this in like Vegas or something. Then in September, Ilia Topuria, Diego Lopez out in Spain, and then September, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. I would like to see him fight Islam Makhachev maybe at the end of next year, but that would be a 3-month turnaround and it's just too quick. So maybe like April, May time next year, we get Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria. That is a fight I really want to see. However, I don't know, is Islam going to move up? Is he going to wait around for Ilia Topuria? Because after Islam beats Arman Sarukian, there really is no one left in his division. He's cleared everybody out. Kind of. He hasn't beat everybody, but there isn't a clear number one contender. I know you've got Oliveira, but I don't want to see that rematch purely because the first fight wasn't even close. So, and there's nothing I've seen in Oliveira's recent performances that makes me think he's going to have more success against Islam Makhachev next time round. A lot of hand movements there, if that makes sense. But yeah, what is going on with Ilia Topuria? I was all over the show, but I think I put my point across. Let me know in the comments below, and as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and I will see you again in the next one.